right now at 7.
Breaking the rules and heading to a bowl game. Bay Area college football team that seems to have no regard for travel quarantines.
They're just more focused on their season, trying to get what they can out of it given the circumstances.
Plus, rising California cases and the rush to get tested before Christmas.
And changing her tone, the mayor of San Francisco responds for a second time what she said just 45 minutes ago about Kamala Harris's replacement.
Situation as we are trying to move this country forward and making sure that Black lives truly matter.
Right now on the KPIX 5 News at 7 and streaming on CBS and Bay Area, San Jose State's football team had their best season ever, but now it's being shrouded in coronavirus controversy. Good evening, I'm Andrea Nakano.
And I'm Alan Martin. KPIX 5's Devin Feely is in San Jose for us tonight.
Here's how it's supposed to work. If you travel more than 150 miles, you're supposed to quarantine for 10 days upon your return. Now, the team just isn't doing that, and county officials say that even if you're having an unbelievable season, it doesn't give you a free pass to violate the rules.
Undefeated season or not, their fellow students say the football team shouldn't be allowed to spike the ball and head home for the holidays in apparent violation of county health orders.
They're just more focused on their season, trying to get what they can out of it given the circumstances here. However, it just brings it back down to the whole situation that we need to be taking precautionary measures in order to avoid the spread.
The Spartans defeated Boise State Saturday to win their conference championship. They returned to campus Sunday, and the team was given the week off, and players were allowed to head home to spend the holidays with family. They're planning to fly to Arizona this coming Sunday to prepare for their bowl game on New Year's Eve, shaving a few days off the county's required 10-day quarantine after travel.
We're in the midst of the largest surge of COVID cases and hospitalizations and sadly deaths that we have yet faced during this entire pandemic.
The university released a statement saying they believe they're following the health guidelines, explaining SJSU scheduled travel in and out of San Jose to allow student athletes and staff who live out of the county to leave immediately after arriving in the county. This follows county guidelines that allow individuals to pass through the county and not have to quarantine. Those staying in Santa Clara County will be quarantined at home. But even the players quarantining inside the county will not have met the 10-day requirement. Their fellow students say it's clearly a double standard.
I work at a grocery store, and I'm not going to go home to see my grandma because who knows? I got a COVID test. It's negative. Don't worry. But, you know, same thing should be for just everyone.
So could the county actually stop players from getting on the plane on Sunday? They could, but there doesn't really seem to be any appetite for a showdown of that nature. The more likely scenario is that the program could theoretically face fines and other penalties. In San Jose, Devin Feely, KPIX 5.
You can watch San Jose State take on Ball State. It's going to air right here on KPIX 5 on New Year's Eve at 11 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people are rushing to get tested before the holidays. SFO is seeing a steady stream of travelers despite the warnings. We saw long lines, testing lines before Thanksgiving, and it looks like we're seeing it again before Christmas. Take a look at everyone waiting to get tested at Emmanuel Church in San Jose.
I've noticed more people that we know have tested positive, so we're a lot more cautious than we were in the past previous month.
You don't want to be the one person to infect everybody, and next thing you know, you're like, oh no, you know, it doesn't make sense. I mean, just common sense, actually, you need to use.
Tonight, the state is inching towards a record 2 million coronavirus cases. In the past day, California recorded more than 32,000 new cases. The positivity rate is now hovering around 12%. And now the state is facing a shortage of doctors and nurses.
You know, it's nothing that we've ever seen before. And so people are burnt out, and we're afraid. We've been working short-staffed for months now.
Moreover, it means that our nurses, our physicians, who are already stretched and tired, must extend themselves even more to care for more and more patients.
You can get the latest stats and other daily coronavirus developments at kpix.com.
Another pretty sunset tonight with some clear skies. This is time-lapse video from our Salesforce camera. Not too many clouds out there tonight.
And Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan here. Paul, the clear sky is not going to be around much longer.
No, we'll see plenty of sunshine still tomorrow, but then more cloud cover on Christmas Eve.
and those clouds will yield some rain showers as we head into Christmas Day. Let's check out Futurecast, and we'll start right now with clear skies over the Bay Area, and that lack of cloud cover means it's going to be chilly out there by early tomorrow morning. But as we wind the clock forward, we are going to see a gradual increase in some high clouds late tomorrow, and those clouds are going to thicken as we head through the day Christmas Eve. More clouds and sunshine, but still dry. Some of the forecast models are hinting at some of this moisture offshore, maybe making a run into the Bay Area late in the day Thursday for Christmas Eve. I don't think that's likely, but I can't completely cross it off the list of possibilities yet at this point. What's much more likely is that we're going to be tracking a large area of rain offshore, and the first of those showers are going to be making their way into the North Bay by mid to late morning on Christmas Day. Right now, it looks like we will still be dry as the sun comes up on Christmas Day morning, but that's not going to last too long for the North Bay, and that rain will move across the rest of the Bay Area for the rest of Christmas Day and into Christmas Day night. We'll take a farther look into the future with a different forecast model that goes a little bit farther out, because there's another wave of rain headed our way by the end of the weekend into early next week. It's coming up in just a few minutes.
And make sure you download the KPIX 5 app so you can keep track of the wet weather during the holidays.
And a live look at San Francisco City Hall tonight. Whiplash from Mayor London Breed. She is now congratulating Alex Padilla on his Senate seat appointment 6 hours after calling it, quote, a blow to the African-American community. Governor Newsom appointed the Secretary of State last night to replace Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Within the last hour, the mayor tweeted, quote, this is a historic day, especially for the Latino community. We have a lot of work to do to advance the rights of immigrants and people of color, and I know you'll be leading that fight in D.C.
KPIX 5 Andrea Borba is live in the city tonight with what the mayor had to say earlier. Andrea?
Well, there was a sense of disappointment from the mayor and upset over the fact that a black woman did not replace Kamala Harris, and now that there are no more black women in the Senate.
I'm honored, man, and I'm humbled.
With that, Secretary of State Alex Padilla accepted Governor Gavin Newsom's appointment to the Senate. Padilla becomes California's first ever Latino senator. But Padilla's selection to replace Kamala Harris is not without controversy. Without Harris, there are no black women in the Senate any longer. Among those considered to be on the short list for the Senate seat, Oakland Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who tweeted this out after the Padilla announcement. Seeing all the words of support means so much to me. Thank you to all of those who lifted me up and supported progressive black women and women of color in leadership. Onward together. Among those expressing disappointment at the choice of Padilla, San Francisco Mayor London Breed.
Situation as we are trying to move this country forward and making sure that Black lives truly matter and that African Americans have a seat at the table, especially African American women, after what was done in this race on a national level.
San Francisco State Professor Joe Tuman, who teaches political and media studies, says the reaction is understandable. He says there may have been some political calculus in not appointing a black California congresswoman to Harris's seat.
The truth is the House of Representatives lost some seats, some Democratic seats. Some of that gain that they made in 2018, they gave back in this most recent election. So there is a little bit of a concern, I'm sure, about pulling or plucking people out of the House.
Now, a short time ago, I spoke with former Mayor Willie Brown about this. He called the move disappointing in nominating Padilla, but he said as someone who has nominated people in the past, he understands the choices the governor had to make, and he says Padilla may have been the right choice for the moment. Now, the governor also has some big shoes to fill statewide, including the Secretary of State. He has just appointed Assemblywoman Shirley Weber, the daughter of sharecroppers, to replace Padilla in that role. He still has to replace the state attorney general, Javier Becerra.
Andrea, thank you so much for your report tonight.
Well, up next at the White House tonight, President Trump is refusing to sign the new stimulus deal, what he just said during a news conference.
Also, California prison inmates are already receiving vaccinations, why some say the state's priorities are all wrong.
And then later, a freak accident at a famed San Francisco surf spot leaves multiple communities grieving tonight.
Unfortunately, this is a tragic end to his life. I mean, for a young guy with a family.
And the Warriors just wrapped up their first regular season matchup. Did they start off with a win? Highlights are coming up next.
Outrage tonight over inmates getting vaccines before the elderly. State says more than 10,000 prisoners have had the virus, along with more than 3,000 prison workers. California healthcare facilities vaccinating people based on risk, but people have mixed opinions about inmates getting the shot before the elderly.
I feel like they do need it just as bad as we do because they are also in that confined area.
And I don't know why they're not full-fledged going into the nursing homes and places like that. I mean, they need it just the same.
The Warriors had a rough start to their season tonight in Brooklyn. Steph Curry saying hello to former teammate Kevin Durant before the game. Hall of Famer Steve Nash making his head coaching debut. And rookie James Wiseman got the start and made his presence felt right away. He finished with 19 points and 6 rebounds. After that dunk, well, Kyrie Irving and the Nets came out hot. He hits the long three at the end of the first half. Irving had 24 in the first half. Brooklyn led by as many as 38. And the Warriors turned it over 18 times. Maybe they were just a little bit rusty. The Nets running it back the other way. Durant throws it down. He finished with 22 points as Brooklyn wins big. 125-99 is the final. The Warriors are back at it on Christmas Day in Milwaukee.
That'll be another test. All right, live look outside. Top of the mark, San Francisco. Nothing but clear evening skies and crystal clear lights is what we're seeing from this view.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan is back. And Paul, we got 2 systems to watch out for this week.
Yeah, a couple chances of rain headed towards the Bay Area. It's going to be snow for the high terrain in the Sierra, so good news for the ski resorts. Tonight, we're going to feel some stronger breezes kicking in, especially in the higher elevations, the North Bay Mountains and the East Bay Hills. Dry weather continues tomorrow and Thursday before that good chance of rain heads our way on Christmas Day. So we'll get into the details of all of these features. First, we'll start with the winds tonight. They're going to be picking up to the 15 to 25 mile an hour range with those highest gusts as we head farther into this evening, and those gusty winds do continue into early tomorrow morning. Fortunately, with the rain we've received recently, the fire danger isn't going to be out of control despite these stronger offshore winds. And then the winds are going to gradually calm down as we head through the day tomorrow. Still breezy by lunchtime, but then a more noticeable decrease in those wind speeds as we head into late tomorrow afternoon. It's going to help the air quality a bit. The wind that kicked in today helped the air quality. At its worst tomorrow, we're going to be in the moderate category across the entire Bay Area. So no spare the air alert for tomorrow. Some good news after we did have one of those alerts for today. Looking outside right now, looks nice from the top of Salesforce Tower, looking over the Bay Bridge and the Bay. Temperatures dropping off a bit down into the 40s for a lot of inland portions of the Bay Area. Still in the low to mid 50s around the water though, and it's also 51 degrees in San Jose. Those temperatures will end up in the 30s inland by early tomorrow morning, even upper 20s in some of the sheltered valleys of the North Bay, with low to mid 40s around the bay itself to start the day. And then those temperatures even out. We'll see some differences to begin the day, but everybody should be into the 50s by lunchtime. And then high temperatures are going to be right around 60 degrees, within a degree or two on either side of 60 across almost the entire Bay Area. And that puts us about 3 to 5 degrees above what's normal for the second to last day before Christmas Eve tomorrow. Let's take a look at Futurecast because we do have that rain chance headed our way. Not here yet, late tomorrow. The first rain chances move into the North Bay by mid to late morning Christmas Day, and then that rain spreads out as we head through the rest of Christmas Day and continuing into Christmas Day night. And even some lingering showers out there on Saturday. Those are going to be hit or miss. The rain chances on Saturday will be a bit lower, but they're not going to be zero. And then we'll be tracking that second wave of moisture. That's going to be heading our way by late Sunday. Looks like the most widespread and the heaviest rain is going to fall Sunday evening into Sunday night, but still some lingering showers out there to begin the day on Monday, and then that activity should taper off as we head into Monday afternoon and evening. Adding up both waves of rainfall. First, the rain for Christmas Day and Christmas Day night. We're talking about under a half inch for some inland portions of the Bay Area, or over an inch of rain for some parts of the North Bay. This is wave one. You had that second wave on top of it, and that's when the amounts start to become a bit more impressive. Over a half inch of rain, even for the places that underachieve a bit. Inch and a half of rain, pretty widespread across the North Bay. We'll keep an eye out for any debris flow issues on some of those wildfire burn scars. Temperatures stay pretty close to what's normal for this time of year, even as the rain moves in. Only mid-50s for highs by Monday and Tuesday, but that's where we should be as we head into the last days of 2020. Andrea?
All right, thanks, Paul. Here's a look at your top headlines. President Trump is slamming the recently passed COVID relief bill. Just hours ago, he posted a video on Twitter urging Congress to increase the stimulus checks.
The bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID relief bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID.
The relief bill that Congress passed last night gives most Americans a $600 stimulus check. The president wants to increase that up to $2,000. House Democrats are reportedly now working on a new bill and could pass it by Thursday.
The bill is not a long-term bill, it's a survival bill.
Congress did its job this week, and I can and I must ask them to do it again next year.
Bay Area transit agencies like BART Muni and the VTA will get around $975 million if the bill is signed. Transit ridership is at an all-time low. The new federal relief may avoid layoffs, but it is not suffering a long-term solution. White House coronavirus coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx says she's making plans to retire. Birx made the comments during an interview with Newsy, saying she is first willing to help President-elect Joe Biden's team with its virus response. This comes just days after reports say Birx traveled out of state for Thanksgiving, and Alan Birx later admitted that she went to her Delaware property with family members.
Hopefully she quarantined. Thanks, Andrea. Up next, the community's mourning the loss of a well-known Bay Area surfer who was killed in a freak accident in the water.
Haroon was probably one of the most positive guys that we had surfing at Fort Point or around the city.
Plus, another small business bites the dust. The sad news tonight after 70 years of fun. Then later, the 49ers getting desperate at the quarterback position. Their last-minute acquisition, and the one player now volunteering.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but also hopefully it does kind of come to that.
A well-known Bay Area surfer was remembered today. Haroon Wesley was surfing at Fort Point in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. He was thrown into the rocks by a large wave and then later died. Wesley was a father, a husband. He also owned Sampa's Pie Shop in Pacifica, where he made each pie by hand. His death, a tragic loss to Pacifica and the surfing community.
Haroon was probably one of the most positive guys that we had surfing at Fort Point or around the city. I'd show up to see Haroon wherever I surfed, and first thing, hi Haroon, how are you? Blessed. I'm so blessed.
He went to pick me up from Lowell High School, where I go, and he just came in his full wetsuit and just walked down the stairs and was like, okay, let's go. And I was like, never do this again. I was like.
The pandemic is forcing a Bay Area landmark to shut its doors after 71 years. The beloved bowling alley, the historic Albany Bowl, is closing for good. The owner says without any cash flow and no government relief in sight, the decision was unavoidable.
Well, up next, 49ers on shaky ground when it comes to quarterback. The backup squad player they just had to sign.
Minutes.
Let me show you part of the reason why. The 49ers going to start C.J. Beathard at quarterback this Saturday against the Cardinals. Nick Mullins ruled out. He's got an elbow injury that actually may require surgery. And the question now becomes who backs up Beathard. Jimmy Garoppolo still injured. Josh Johnson on the COVID list. The 49ers actually signing former first-round pick Josh Rosen off the Bucs practice squad. Plus, they have at least one volunteer on the roster.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but also hopefully it does kind of come to that. Maybe CJ like needs to tie his shoe or his helmet needs fixed or something. I at least get one play. But
guess we'll wait. That's the attitude coaches want to see, right?
Yeah, then who knows? Maybe Juice is like the new Hall of Fame quarterback for the future. We'll see.
Hey, at this point, let's roll the dice. We need to win. Thanks for watching. The news continues streaming CBS and Bay Area.
We'll be back at 11. Good night.